Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming over here and gaining knowledge, clicking in, and hanging out. This is the We'll Fix It channel, and you are part of a team, the We'll Fix It team. We're all trying to make things run and do the best we can to survive out here. And so, with this channel, I want to try my best to bring you information on how to keep vehicles running and different things in life to make just things go. And today we're working on a 2015 Honda Accord, and the customer is bringing it in not because we're having any running problems, but it's at the mileage due for its small tune-up. They just want spark plugs. We're going to check the air filter. Basically, this video is going to be replacing the spark plugs. And so, with no further ado, let me just show you a little bit about what we got here. This is a 4-cylinder model with the Earth Dreams Technology VTEC 4-cylinder. So let's get over here and see what we got. Okay, so as you can see right here, we're looking at the motor. We're under the hood. And to get to the spark plugs, they've got a cover over this. Several bolts, one here, there's one back here, one here, or fasteners, we'll call them fasteners. One here and then one here. And we're going to remove those. They're all 10 millimeter and they'll turn counterclockwise. Go ahead and take that off. We'll get the cover off and I'll be right back. The cover will just easily lift off once you have all the fasteners and hardware removed. We'll just lay this over here beside the vehicle. So next up, I want to disconnect the plug-ins for the coil packs right here. These plug-ins are usually very brittle. The plastic is. And let me show you a little something here I made out of a piece of a metal out of a wiper blade. I get, just using a little wiper blade and just snatch the little the metal backing out of it. And it's really awesome stuff to work with. I make tools for this right here, connection removal tools. And I have all that. But I find myself going in this direction just because they're just easy to work. So I've got that lifted up very carefully. We're going to remove it just like that. We'll do all 4 of these like that. I'm going to go to the next one here, which you can't see this one very well because it's just where my camera's positioned, but easily just pull it up. That way, when you try to press on it, you don't snap those things off, okay? I'll be right back. This also had a little pot. I just push that forward and we lift that up and the whole thing will just come off and get out of the way there. And then next thing we'll do is we'll get this here. So what we got here is I'm using a long extension with a 3/8 drive ratchet and a 14 millimeter spark plug. That's what we're working with. So I'm using a 14 millimeter deep well socket. And I'll break them loose. I'll get them all the way spun out. And I'll just get my long magnet or maybe my little rubber hose and just fish them out of there. So watch this right quick. And I'll show you a trick. I'll put them back. Turn them counterclockwise. Moving along. We'll do the other 2 just like this here. Just turn them counterclockwise till you feel them reach the top of their threads. See if this hose, usually I can get on top of them with that. Yeah, there's one of them right there. Little sucker, look, got a little bitty shake, little bitty end on it. We'll just go along and start pulling them all out just like that right there. That gets them out. And I'll show you a trick on putting them back in. So I want to show you a thing or two about these spark plugs and a method that these are NGK OEM Iridium spark plugs. They should already be gapped from the factory. We're looking for a gap of 44 thousandths. So what you want to do with your gapper is just till it finds its place and stops. Don't force it past that. If I can get in the camera shot real well, the tip of this spark plug is a real fine wire iridium coated copper, and that makes it a superconductor. And that helps it focus the energy of the spark plug into the electrode that you see at the top right here. Now, as you can see, if this gap was off, and if it was too close and you had to open it up, the first instinct is to stick this in here and sort of wedge it up and down, and then got the gap right. You didn't move the electrode here. You actually just smushed and bent down your iridium tip. significantly reducing its performance and or causing it to be completely defective, if not immediately after putting it in. So you're going to want to use a small pair. I'm behind me over here. I don't want to get a camera shot, but use a small pair of side cutters and just barely grab the tip of the end of the electrode. Some of the old school gappers had a thing on the end of it. You grab it, you move the end of this big part right here, and you be very careful because it's got a small iridium coating on it too. If you look, it's hard to see in camera shot, but you can see a difference in the metal right there where they've coated it with the iridium coating for superconductivity and heat resistance. It dissipates heat a lot faster, so you can run a hotter plug and not worry about hot spots causing pre-ignition. But a lot of these motors now are direct injected, so pre-ignition isn't so much of a thing anymore because of it injecting the fuel at the time of ignition, just like a diesel motor. Anyhow, yeah, so we're gonna check all 4 of these. It should gap out 44 thousandths on this particular model, and carefully move it if we have to by the way we just described, and we'll go ahead and get them on in real quick. Okay, one other thing, I'm using a rubber hose that I used to get them out with. I can direct it down in the hole. It doesn't start anything crooked. If it does, it just slips the rubber hose. Now, the next thing, you can use their anti-seize, but you don't need a lot of it. A misconception of anti-seize is you coat that thing down for all it's worth. You just barely dab it. That's all you need. That's all you need. That's it. Okay. Most of the time, unless you're in certain circumstances, most of the time you don't need it. The aluminum is a lot better now than it used to be, so it doesn't seize to the metal. This stuff is metallic. I'm just letting you know this stuff is metallic. It's not to be used for boot grease, for anti-seize on spark plug boots or your coil packs. That's a big no-no. Being it's metallic, it's a conductor. In other words, you'll provide a path for spark to go down the side of the spark plug with least resistance and ground out and cause it to misfire and arc down the side of the porcelain and ruin it. So you don't use it for boot grease. I'm only saying that because I've seen it done. I've got into cars and took them apart, and I was like, oh wow, they use anti-seize because they're like, well, keep the boot from being seized. So basically, we don't do that. You use a high voltage base silicone grease that doesn't harden up. It just stays solvent. Anyway, so we'll turn this in until it tightens down, and then we're good. We'll move on and do the other 4 holes like that, or the other 3. Okay, so I'm going to tighten these down, and I don't really use a torque wrench. I just kind of tighten for feel. They're fine threaded. So they need to be tighter than like I've gotten 4.6 Fords in here that had spark plugs that would blow out of them. And what I would find out is when I would check the other ones, they would be slightly needing to be tightened up. You don't need to crank these things down to the holy maximum level. I would say at the most probably 10 foot-pounds of torque. That would be plenty. Just to kind of give you a reference of where I'm at, feeling the tightness of the tension on these. I've done so much of this that, I'm just that good. Okay, there, I'll toot my horn. Toot, 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 toot. All right, so anyhow, now that we're done being conceited for a minute, we're going to just reverse procedure by placing the coil packs back down into the holes like we had earlier. And, just into the out doesn't matter long. I think I'll set the coils back down in first like that. Of course, I've already applied a little bit of the dielectric grease on that, so that was done off camera, but just a little pearl of dielectric grease will be all you need in there, and it provides the sealing properness to make this work. So we'll put our hardware back on, we'll drop the cover, snap these back on, drop the cover back on after that, and we'll call it a day. I want to thank you guys so much for taking time to click over here on this channel. I got a little grease on the forehead, and I got plenty of forehead, guys, and so there's plenty of room for grease. And I just really do appreciate all the support. Just try to, maybe share this stuff out, or, help me get more subs. And I want this channel to grow really big and be happy and fun and stick around for a while. So I appreciate everything, guys. Have a good week ahead, and just, take it easy, because I'm out.